Howdy angels, welcome to the Oppression Mega video. Oppression is something that is around you every day, whether or not you have the ability to see it. Let's define oppression like this: any social, economic, or other disadvantage placed upon a minority group by the majority. And who better to talk about oppression than a privileged, upper middle class white guy? But seriously, as a gay man born in a hyper-conservative environment, I know a thing or two about oppression. I know that being born a certain way can cause you emotional hardship, rejection by family, and even put you at risk of losing your job. Now here some of you will cry foul and say, yeah, but being gay isn't the same thing as being black or handicapped or transgender. You can't tell you're gay just by looking at you. To this I'd say, can you not tell? So let's get down to business. What I want to discuss today is not about specific types of oppression, although that certainly merits a discussion. What I want to talk about is playing nicely with other people, whether or not they belong to your particular oppressed group. I recently got into a flame war online with a group of people discussing trans issues. Now, the author stated that trans people don't ever need to be nice to cis people because cis people are oppressing them. And I've heard the same argument before regarding racial minority groups. Racial minority groups never need to be nice to white people because white people are oppressing them. This is where all of the white and or cis people get up into arms and say, I've never done anything to hurt any minority group and I'm not discriminatory. And then all the trans/minority groups say, you are a part of the oppression because it's systemic. What this means is because the system is set up in white and cis people's favor, they are part of the oppression, whether they like it or not. And I wish this wasn't true, but it is. As a white cis man, I benefit from a long tradition of pushing white cis men to the top. And although lots of progress has been made on minority groups taking their rightful places of power, hello to my boss, the Commander-in-Chief, if you put up pictures of CEOs of the top corporations in the country on a wall, I'm pretty sure it would be a mighty beige wall. So I benefit. And because I'm part of a group that benefits from oppression, I am, by extension, an oppressor. But here's my caveat. I'm an unwilling oppressor. Because I know that I benefit, I can take steps to promote the underprivileged and to call out my fellow entitled brats on their bullshit when they take advantage. I wish that there was more that I could do, but I'll do what I can. So then let's get back into the discussion of how we treat other people, no matter who they are. I mean, can't we all just get along? I get it, I'm white and clearly very fancy. But none of that should prevent you from being nice to me, or any other person for that matter, unless they're actively hurting you in some way. And if you really feel the need to be mean to someone because of what they are rather than who they are, well, aren't we just perpetuating some of the same problems we're trying to eliminate? I once sat in on a social justice group meeting and a young African woman was discussing her issues with racial discrimination. She ended it by saying, I just really hate all white people. There was an awkward silence and all of the white people in the group just kind of sat there dejected. And then I raised my hand and I said, excuse me, I just don't really think it's right to hate anybody. I think that's the only time in my life that I've had 50 different people scream at me at the same time. I don't understand, I really don't, why we would condone hate if love is what we want to promote. When, after all, has hate ever created love, or equality for that matter? Here's my opinion, whether or not you think it's right for me to give it. Forgiveness is the most difficult thing in the world, but it's also the most beneficial. If we can't forgive, we can't teach, not effectively. And though teaching isn't our responsibility, if we don't do it, then those rich, white, straight cis men will never understand why gays have equal rights to employment, or how even with women's suffrage coming up on its centennial, only 4.2% of CEOs of Fortune 500 companies are women. Or how, even well after the time of Martin Luther King Jr. and the end of segregation, blacks are still comparatively impoverished to whites. And if we don't forgive, they'll never understand that a trans person in any scenario has just as many inherent rights as any cisgender person on this planet. They'll never learn if we don't forgive them for their ignorance. because we won't be able to teach them. At the end of the day, they're the helpless ones. They need us. They need us to help them understand. See, even if I can't understand exactly your struggle, even the most privileged person in the world has struggles. And if we really try, we all have the capability to empathize. We can strive to make our pain understood, and we can do so in a productive, kind, and empathetic manner. We owe it to ourselves to break out of the currency of oppression, where being gay is a cent, being black is a quarter, and being trans is $1. We've got to stop telling other people that they can't understand our pain unless their oppression adds up to ours. Because the fact is, they can. We just haven't given them a chance to. This is my pledge that the next time I find out someone needs to be taught about oppression based on my experience as a gay man, I'll teach them. Even if I find out they need to be taught by them attacking me, whether or not they realize they're doing so. I will be here to help end the ignorance with grace, whether or not they deserve my kindness, or even if it isn't my job to do so. This is my pledge, and I hope you'll do the same. Until next time, angels.